Dear learners, in today's topic of MST 016 Strategies and Model for Sustainability, we will understand about micro level planning for Biovillage. In previous session, we have learned about Biovillage. Biovillage is basically a human-centered sustainable rural development. The Biovillage model for sustainable and equitable human development is based on principles of natural resource conservation and utilization. It is also based on social equality and economic well-being. In this concept, the disadvantaged section of the people can overcome poverty if they have enabled to learn their living through assorted livelihood opportunities based on-farm, non-farm and aquatic resources by optimally utilizing the limited resources. This can be achieved through skill and knowledge empowerment. In Biovillage, the health and happiness of rural families is the goal of development. So, Biovillage is essentially a pathway to achieve Gandhiji's concept of Gram Swaraj, and this was implemented by our Professor M.S. Swaminathan. He is the father of Evergreen Revolution. Since Biovillage is community-based institutions, it requires planning for converting a village into a viable biovillage. So, the planning for setting up a biovillage project is done maybe at the village level or at the farm level. Hence, this whole process is referred to as a micro level planning for biovillage. So, in this session, we will concentrate on micro level planning, especially preparing action plans related to activities of biovillage. In a biovillage concept, the facilitator play important role. So, facilitator along with the community needs to undertake detailed assessment about the socio-economic structure and the natural resource mapping. It can be done through collection of primary data or collection of secondary details and participatory appraisals. Let us understand each one of this in a great detail. It is important to develop understanding to identify the major technological and socioeconomic constraint in a spatial levels, be it global or at national, state level or at district levels. It is also important to identify the temporal dimensions which can adversely affect the ecological compatibility, economic efficiency, social activity of the resource development in the particular focus village. Thus, an prospective action plan is required for implementing a biovillage. All information collected through surveys or assessment should be discussed with the community in an appropriate manner for a wise decision making. So, let us understand about socio-economic study. The social infrastructure of household in a selected village is collected. It is called as a baseline data, which act as a base for designing the development interventions. The same data will also be used to assess the results of intervention in quantitative terms. So, for this process, the facilitator needs to develop a questionnaire to quantify the socio-economic status of a community. So, he has to conduct a household survey. What kind of questionnaire could be? The questionnaire can be broadly divided into 6 parts. It should collect information about identification, particularly a rural household. The part 2 can be particulars relating to the age, sex, education, occupation and income of every member of the family. Third part of the questionnaire could be particulars related to the assets, livelihood stock, sanitation, energy consumption, and part 4 can be details can be like on the form land holdings. Part 5th of the questionnaire can be data on nutrition and health status of the community. It can be assessed at different level using appropriate tools, specifically in terms of school going children or the dropout children, housewife, adolescent girls and boys, farm laborers, etc. Part 6 of the questionnaire could be time budget analysis, which is basically a temporal accounting system or a record of activities over a specified period of time. So, it need to be quantified. The result of time budget analysis provide the basis on how people allocate time to different activities, and we can quantify how much free time they have, both at the individual level or at the cumulative level at a group system. This will enable the facilitator to plan suitable activities and allocate appropriate time to the members of the group. Next comes the natural resource assessment. This assessment can be divided into 3 components. The first one carry the physical setting of the village. In this system, we analyze the availability of non-renewable resources, accessibility of these resources and economic importance of such non-renewable resources and its sustainability. And we can also assess the soil as a resources or water as a resources. The second aspect is biological aspect. Biological aspect requires an assessment of existing biological wealth that can be examined on the basis of plant species, animal species and their relative and economic importance. The third component of natural resource assessment is farming system analysis. Within this system, we require data on farming system which are quantified on a farmer centric approach, and thus it requires understanding the prospects and problems of farmers through their perspective, and we can develop solution that is based on proper understanding of the objectives in the backdrop of both biophysical and socio-economic components of the system. The farming system analysis need to be undertaken on a participatory research manner. So, basically it is a participatory approach. Hence, the principle here will be, before you teach the farmers, first listen to them and understand them. It is very important. Now, we come to the secondary data collection. After the collection of primary data on socio-economic study and natural resource assessment, we need to collect the secondary data as well. The secondary data involves mainly soil and hydrology, meteorology, irrigation, animal husbandry, geology, entomology, health issues, government schemes in operation, what is the total population or demographic details of the village, financial and scientific institution to support these biovillage activities. So, these secondary data are essentially obtained from various resources like government department or research and development institutions, or it can be local NGO also. Let us understand participatory rural appraisal. Participatory rural appraisal is basically a participatory approach and method that emphasize the local language, and thus it enable the local people to make their own appraisal, to make their analysis, to develop the micro plans which are based on assessments, to develop the micro plans which is the foundation of a bio village. The tool needed for PRA could be, it's an exercise enabling introspection and a collective decision making by the rural people of various background. So, in this process they choose appropriate resources and technology for their livelihood. Regardless of the activity, the PRA requires teamwork spirit and a transparent procedure. This has to be achieved through a series of open meetings or a semi-structured interviewing, which include both the inter and intra group of participating community and all other stakeholders. It can also be achieved through a focus group discussion, which essentially involve many resource user groups. In all this process of PRA, the facilitator needs to ensure that input from local people is essential for research and planning method and ultimately into the PRA activities. So, the input from local people is very essential. The facilitator also need to achieve maximum validity of PRA data by forming a well balanced team that represents the diversity of socio-economic, cultural, gender and generational perspective. So, we need to take care of all socio-economic aspect, their culture, gender, be it women, men or generation, like it can be of a younger generation or a older generation. Facilitator has to look that we have to use the proper combination of methods and technology to bring out the best output in a particular development context. PRA work also involve gathering of information to make the necessary recommendations and decision. So, facilitator should be efficient in both time as well as money. PRA works with the quantitative data. So, it is necessary to ensure that information is valid, reliable and verifiable. PRA team needs to verify the information at least from 3 independent sources. Village resource map helps to know about the village and community and its resource base. Basically, it includes the detailed land use in the village, such as what are the area for a fishing, seashore, village pond, backwater, agriculture land, grazing area, wasteland, forest land, water bodies, as well as agro-agriculture zones, like what is the type of soils, slopes, cropping patterns. It all includes public service facilities also, like primary health center, schools, religious center, etc. Such kind of village resource map needs to be prepared by the participants of a group based on assessment listed in the natural resource survey. This will enable community to get grasp of the community owned resources, availability, accessibility, sustainability depending on the user group, and it also depend on the current usage levels. It also invests the prospect and problems on each resource for devising the micro plan for sustainable resource utilization. The facilitator can organize 2 to 3 meetings in an open space and encourage the participants to draw a map of the village. The current status and rate of development as well as supporting institution and infrastructure available for the improvement of the resources are taken into the consideration before drawing any conclusions. Let us understand about social mapping. Social mapping helps to know about the social structure of a village and the criteria or the indicators used to define the differences in the society. It is prepared by the participants based on assessments made on the household surveys, nutrition and time budget analysis. Social mapping should describe the social groups, its size, economic status, profession, educational status, health status and time availability for doing the additional work. Special emphasis has to be given for women and educated or unemployed youth in the mapping purpose. Such exercise will help to identify the participants who require more focus, their capability, what are their training needs and the feasibility for providing alternative biovillage based livelihoods. Let us understand establishment of consortium between backward and forward linkages. What are backward linkages? Backward linkages is basically a science and technology consortium which help in identification of appropriate technology options which are based on biotechnology, information and space technology, technology integration mechanisms and marketing avenues opportunities which need to be established. The consortium will include suitable government agencies, university departments, R&D sectors, non-government organizations and private sector industries. On the other hand, the forward linkages means a financial and management backup consortium which consists of financial institutions, donor agencies, insurance companies, private and public sector enterprises to help in provision of credit and in organization of marketing and management. So, it is essential to establish a combination and consortium of backward and forward linkage while planning for a viable biovillage. A prospective action plan needs to be developed after understanding the potential constraints, problems, opportunities for sustainable development by interlinking the output of social mapping and village resource mapping and also on the basis of available technologies and financial consortiums. Such participatory action plan would serve as a formulation for developing the master plan for implementing the Biovillage. So, essentially, prospective action plan should assess and select only those technology options that have demonstrable superiority over the conventional technology being practiced in the village, and it should also have ecological sustainability, economic efficiency, social equity and economic potentials from gamut of available technologies, which are available for providing a new livelihood opportunities for participating communities. Training and capacity building programs are organized to enhance skill and knowledge and to develop an attitude to accept change and to make sure that targeted audience perform to the best of their ability. So, the capacity building empowers people and enables them to gain control over their own livelihood practices and the environment. The long term aim is to empower people to become self-reliant and self-sufficient. The shortlisted technology options need to be converted into new income generating avenues. So, for this purpose, focus group needs to receive appropriate training to enhance knowledge and skills to perform the new task. There are certain important issues in capacity building and training which requires attention, such as we need to identify and prioritize the training needs of a group or individual. The nature of training must be through knowing by doing or seeing is believing approaches. The new technology have been demystified to level easily understandable by the participants. The training module should be in vernacular language or contain locally available appropriate examples and the tools which are accessible to the participants of the Biovillage. It should have simple provision for the participants to rework or refresh to what they learned during the implementation. The expert chosen should ensure the maximum understanding of the techniques or skills by the participant by answering or demonstrating the various process patiently and pertinently. At the end of each capacity building session, the participant should be encouraged to perform self-evaluation and joint evaluation by the experts. The training needs are dynamic in nature, hence the training need assessment is very important and should be carried out for every new initiative planned. The micro enterprises should be amenable with the decentralized production and centralized marketing services. So, the enterprises should be economically viable and ensure replicability. They should be eco-friendly technique and gender equality is essential for everlasting ecological and social sustainability. So, the next stage in micro planning is the process of establishing a biocenter within the Biovillage. A biocenter is considered as a hub for Biovillage program which is based on participatory research, and thus it requires involvement of rural people in every process of the project. A Biovillage council needs to be established to run a biocenter. Biocouncil will have representative of participating focus group, and it will also promote the group efforts and lateral learning. It also identify the training need assessments. It will also interact and improve the linkages with the consortium partners, monitor the status of resources and well-being of farm families. The Biocouncil is essential because it can identify and provide common services under one roof and reduce the transaction cost, and it will also help to identify new development which are help to attain the economy of the scale. It should also work closely with the farm families for their economic, social and physical well-being and continued prosperity. It should aim at a holistic management of the farm, especially the resources like soil health care, water resources, diversity of crop, farm animals, post harvest management, marketing, and thus to ensure the proper returns. It should be located in a convenient place identified by the community itself. The exact structure of biocenter will depend on services to be provided, and it has a key feature in terms of supply center for quality input supply, information center for providing information on weather, new technologies and market status, service center for crop health management, integrated pest management, fertilizer management, training and demonstration center, that is for training and capacity building programs. It can also act as a marketing center to provide market space, storage and processing the facilities. Biocenter can also act as an experimental station which will assess the soil health, water quality and conduct experiments to test the performance of new variety to be introduced into the village. It can also act as an entertainment sector, which is a meeting place for social and cultural activities and for screening of project related films, folk theatre. Such entertainment center will reduce the social evils like alcoholisms in the village using other means of entertainment. Let us understand about monitoring and evaluation. The facilitator needs to create awareness to the participant about the importance of monitoring and evaluation. It should be carried out at a regular interval at both group and as well as at biocouncil level. Monitoring is to check the progress of micro plans, whether the activity which take place is according to work plan which is prepared for a specific time period, whereas evaluation is to find out whether the accomplished activity have helped to achieve the objectives, or if not, what are the mistakes which are committed or the lessons which need to be learned from these mistakes, and what could be the course correction measures that are required to improve the program. The participants are now turned into new entrepreneurs. They may face some initial problems. Hence, the monitoring and evaluation plan should be simple and suit the skill and tradition of the participant. Monitoring and evaluation process need to consult the minutes of the meetings, books and other relevant process documents to arrive at conclusion. It should bring about quantitative and qualitative indicators to find out what went wrong or the ways or means to improve the condition, to rectify the mistakes committed, and overall accountability in a very objective and clear manner. The facilitator should ensure a smooth monitoring and evaluation process by knowing that mistakes that are owned by individual and participant should not be penalized for their any omissions or mistakes. Monitoring and evaluation plan help to strengthen the problem solving capacity of the rural people, and thus over a period of time it will achieve the self reliance of the community. After a series of participatory monitoring and evaluation exercises followed by mid course correction and ensuring the ability of participants to manage on their own, the facilitating group should ensure change in role from active implementation to a supporting role. So, the need of participants of Biovillage program should take up the now role of implementer, and it should be in a participatory manner. The program should transform itself into from a project mode, from a gradual reduction of external input to a complete Biovillage, where the participants function into more confidence in problem solving, collective decision making, wise use of resources, handling of technology, interaction with technical financial institutions, and better marketing ability for a self-reliant and vibrant society. So, in this session we have learned about the micro level planning of Biovillage through surveys and rural appraisals. We have learned about the village resource and social mapping, training and capacity building, linkages of eco technologies, biocenters, monitoring and evaluation, and withdrawal strategy which are required for the Biovillage development. Thank you and happy learning to all.